Welcome back to Ignited Mercy. If you did not see last week's video, go back to it. We reviewed entry 13:12 and 13:13, and we were talking about obedience. Today we're going to continue entry 13:14 and 13:15. Now, as Faustina realized that it was Jesus, the one who came and asked her for hot food, disguised as a beggar, to the gate of her convent, she goes back to the kitchen, and of course she's praising God. He already spoken to her in her heart. I'm a little jealous, if you haven't noticed. And then she says, I understand now that mercy has many folds. And she says, you spoke to me, O Lord, some time ago about loving the poor and loving those that are around me. Now I understand, she says. And the very next entry also speaks to us how hard it was for her to carry this task, because she says, oh, what great efforts I must take to carry out my duties well when my health is so poor. This will be known to you alone, O Christ. So she's not complaining, but I'm so glad she wrote this here, because I understand that poor Faustina was sick, right? She was really, really ill. And she says, I have to make great efforts to carry out my duties well because of my poor health. And maybe you and I don't have poor health, but maybe we have poor self-control. Maybe we have poor power of will. Maybe we have poor skills as far as being obedient, being humble, and being willing to sacrifice what we think is right for what we know is right in God's eyes. And this is what I see in Faustina. And although I was a little jealous at the beginning, now I understand my poor friend Faustina. She was making a huge effort just to walk to the gate and bring hot food to whoever came to ask for food. And when I look back at my life, I'm not in a convent. I'm not distributing hot food to the poor through my doors. Maybe we are here and there through Brewster Care and Help and Hope, right? But not on a regular basis. Yet there are things we do on a regular basis that are hard for us. I definitely have things that I do every day that are very hard for me. I have my own little things that I'm fighting against, right? And I identified with Faustina. And every time it's hard for me to get out of my bed and do all the things I have to do. Every time I look at my to-do list, or I look at my kids who are just fighting and not doing homework and trying to be disobedient, and my husband, feeling like, this is not gonna work. How are we gonna make out, all of what we don't have for the budget or for the house, whatever it is you're battling with. It is so good to know that our friend Faustina did struggle just like you and I. But what did she do? She said, how good it is, oh Lord, that only you know about this. So we're not only talking about obedience, but we're talking about the next step. Once we are obedient, who hears about it? Do we go around making sure people know that we're making a huge effort? Do we complain? We're already doing God's will, but we gotta complain. We gotta say, we gotta give our piece of our mind to somebody. My husband gotta hear me. My kids got to hear me. They got to hear what I have to say. The people who live with me, my friends, my co-workers, my boss, my spiritual guide, whoever it is that you rely on. Faustina says, and she's teaching us today, it's hard for me to work. I feel sick, I feel weak, but I want your will. And once I accomplish your will, once I do what you want me to do, Lord, how good it is that only you know how hard this was for me, because I want this to be an offering. So it wasn't only the gift of obedience, it was what it was wrapped with. Right? The wrapping of this gift she was giving to Jesus was just to be humble and not go around letting the whole world know about her sacrifice. So that's my invitation to you today. Make sure that you're gifting Jesus with the gift of obedience, but also make sure that you're wrapping it in humility. Now have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you here next week. Bye-bye.